Welcome to episode 11 Reality Podcast. I am your host, Ricky Valero. On today's episode, we're going to be recapping episode 7, 8, and 9 of Perfect Match. Things are heating up in the mixer, and boy, oh boy, did things go down this week. First off, before we dive in, folks, make sure to tune into the Love and Reality Podcast on Sunday night. We have a big special guest joining Ashley and I who is on Perfect Match. You're not going to want to miss it. I promise you that. We'll be live as well with our guests, so you'll be able to ask them plenty of questions about the show. That being said, folks, obviously, when we left off last week, our couples were Rachel and Scott, Lucy and Daniel, Lewis, Sandy, Madison, Jalen, Justine, and Ollie. Obviously, we had the mixer, so the ladies have shown up. AD has arrived, and she wants her some of Ollie. But of course, the thing about it is, she wants all the details of what went on. The downside is, the guys were not thrilled to see AD because they knew AD would be out here spilling the tea on what is happening during this mixer. So Lewis pulls AD to the side and says, if he wants to kiss people, will she keep her mouth shut, basically? And he makes her pinky promise. AD says she won't tell Sandy because that is his job. Madison was super happy to see Freddie. And then Nick said they will go back to the house tonight and be with their match. And tomorrow, everyone will re-enter the house with everyone in play. He said the fellows are doing the damn thing, are doing the same thing, but potentially worse, which is hilarious. QT and Hannah in the house. Lots of tea and drama being around Hannah and her pregnancy and not being able to reveal her baby daddy and all that stuff's going on. That's crazy. Juliet is back, and much to my dismay, but she said that Rachel took Clayton from me, and now I will take Scott from her, which is crazy. The guys are get together. Daniel loves him some Olivia, and even says he likes Olivia more than, looks wise, more than Lucy. And Louis said the same about Alex. So they all get together saying, uh, just running amok. And then we get Freddie and Madison talking about they miss each other. And then Rachel and Carrington were mucking it up. And then, of course, JR and Justine are mucking it up, but she does not like how forward he was. And see, that's the big problem with JR. JR was just trying to come in and get his 5 minutes and lay it on somebody. And he came on way too strong. Justine actually liked him. I think she actually caught a vibe with JR, but he just came out ridiculously strong. AD and Ollie time. She asked him if they had kissed, and she said no. He said he wants to give them both a chance. Ollie, my brother, lying? No, sir. No, sir. We see Daniel do once again one thing he's loved to do this entire time is poor me crying about the kissing competition. And this is where things get a little bit freaky over here on Perfect Match as Louis dares QT to kiss Jalen. Or so Daniel dares Louis to kiss Alex, and of course he does. Ollie tries to cover 80's face, but she's like, nah, fam, they make out heavy. This was not just a, hey, give them a kiss and move on with your life type of scenario. No, sir. Was not that at all. Louis dares QT to kiss Jalen, and QT puts it on him. Puts it on him. Okay, go QT. Man, I just wish we would have got more QT on this show. Louis kisses Alex and Hannah together. Together, yeah, you heard me. Together, we had a little thruple kiss, which made Louis obviously super freaking happy. AD dared Ollie to kiss someone he wouldn't kiss, and he pulled out and kissed somebody on the cheek, which was hilarious. And then we see Olivia put it on Daniel. Whew. Man, there was just like a lots of making out. And then on the girls' side of things, lots and lots of not making out. But Ray pulled Rachel for a chat, and those two were kind of cute together. I actually really like them. Sandy said she would love to see a girl out in front of Louis right now because she has faith in him and she is not too worried. Sorry, Sandy. Back at the guys' mixer, the guys in the pool with Louis and Alex are making out, making out. Daniel and Olivia are doing the same. They play a little bit of pool wrestling, one on top of the other shoulders. AD stalks her way over there and to see what the guys are doing. Alex and Olivia kiss. Um, they just this entire thing was exactly what we'd expect from the guys. And then, of course, the gents have returned to the little villa and they look guilty as fuck. And Louis can't keep a straight face if his life depended on it. All the guys are quiet. Ollie brings up, they played pool, they played games, they just had fun in the water. And Sandy is screaming guilty. Lucy said, "Was any kissing games or body shots?" And then Louis said, "If Sandy knew what he did, he would cut his dick off." And then Daniel said nothing. Um, and then, of course, Lucy stood up and said, "Did anyone kiss?" Daniel pulls her for a chat, like we're on Love Island here, and said it was a game. It was stupid. It doesn't feel good about it. He chalked it up to a game. He chalked it up to the game. Said it was the truth or dare thing. It was a dare to kiss him, and that was it. So he didn't mean anything at all. It was the other way around. It was just not cool, blah, 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 blah. But if this was the other way around and he found out she kissed some other dude, he would have, God knows what this man would have done. Daniel is just such a hypocritical little crybaby. I'm sorry. Somebody has to say it. He said he's not going to bring up the lick in the thigh thing and left that out. Forget the whole lick in the thigh thing, which is awful. But forget about that. It wasn't just a game. You made out in the pool for like 10 minutes, it felt like. Louis is panicking because he is a chatterbox and isn't talking. Louis said, "I kissed 2 girls for a dare." Alex outside of the dare. Sandy storms away. She said, "You're fucking ridiculous." He said, "I didn't want to lie to you." She said, "I'm surprised." She said she was trusting him and genuinely had trust in him. He apologized how he acted, but does not regret it. Lucy and Sandy share stories about their men kissing half the group. We get a standoff with the guys and girls not talking to one another. Clayton said he might be able to slide back into the house. Shut up, Clayton. Go be somebody's dad. Lucy and AD has returned, and the ladies are happy. Lucy and Sandy and Rachel pull AD for a chat. AD wisely asked the ladies, "What do you know?" And then she, of course, corrects it. Lucy said Daniel only kissed in the game. AD was like, "No, fam. He kissed the inside and licked the inside of Olivia's thigh." Lucy was devastated. AD was spilling the tea. The guys were not happy with Ollie because his girl was spilling the tea. The guys flip out. And then AD said, "Did Ollie and Justine kissed?" They kind of insinuated they did, but then she was like, "I'm gonna go find out for myself." So she pulls Justine for a chat. The boys are fucked. You know what I mean? Like these guys were fucked. And then as AD and Justine are talking, Ollie just said, "I'm fucked. I might as well go home." And Justine says, "Yeah, we kissed after we matched." And of course, AD was freaking the fuck out. And then we see Lucy pull Olivia for a chat. Olivia said we kissed and told him about the whole licking in the thigh situation. And then, of course, this is where we see Ollie pull AD for a chat. He said he was worried. Sorry for not being honest. He wants to win her trust back if she would let him. Right. And then, AD and Ali is just. Ray was mucking it up with AD. Ollie was ready to fight over it. Rachel and Scott are talking. He said, "I didn't lie. I withheld the truth." He said, "You look good." And she said, "That should terrify you." I fucking love Rachel, guys. She's amazing. Sandy pulls Jalen for a chat. Daniel refuses to look at Olivia. And then Louis drops some knowledge of a lot of old whales died because they can't go back to the top of the water. Thank you for that. Louis says Alex is giving Black Panther vibes. I ship Ray and Rachel. I really do ship those two. Ollie's like talking shit about the other guys. He's ready to like throw down and fight. Ollie pulls Justine for a chat. AD's not thrilled. He said he's had it all with AD. He's ready. He just wants to be with AD. Louis apologizes to Sandy. Daniel is saying he's used to throwing a good one away and wants Lucy back. Shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? He said details were left out. I feel terrible. He's so manipulative. and Lucy's clocking him. And then like it's like, please, 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 I'm begging. Lucy says she worked hard not to fall for shitty behavior. Exactly, preach, but whatever. We're talking about sucking toes, and JR said Juliet. We had a threesome comment. QT said Jalen and Clayton. Nick has arrived. He said anyone can match who they want to match with, but the max of 6 couples. The singles not in a match cannot match with other singles. If they don't match, peace the fuck out. And then surprise fucking surprise, y'all. Surprise, surprise. Surprise, fucking surprise. Yeah, let's talk about the surprise. These two match again. Daniel and Lucy are back together. To me, this is where I'm convinced. These two matched because Lucy potentially wanted to stay on the show, maybe, and this was her opportunity to do so, I guess. Daniel is just a piece of shit who's just trying to do, keep his 5 minutes of fame rolling. You know what I mean? I guess that's what this really pissed me off. I thought Lucy was going to like tell this dude to pound sand. And then, of course, our boy Freddie and Madison are back together again. Fully expected that. And then, of course, we have our ship of the century, Ollie and AD. Even though she said, I hate you. If he said, if I don't match with you, I'll match with Louie. Please give Louie and Ollie a show together. God, I would watch that. So those two match. Sandy jokingly said she's going to pull more guys. He said she pulled Jalen to their egg spot, and he's very, 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 very upset that she pulled him to the egg spot. These two match again. Scott is groveling at Rachel, but this leads to the match of the century between Rachel and Ray. I love those two. He said all these fucking folks are matching just to stay in this damn house. Basically, Scott and Juliet match, which is like what? Like what? Rachel said Scott is here to play the game and make it to the end. I love that she clocked that. I can't tell you. Like, Rachel is it. Rachel is it. Let's see here. Allie and AD are fighting because she thinks he's insecure. He said she was laughing and joking with another dude. He said it was disrespectful. They were screaming, like yelling at each other. It was crazy. Lucy made Daniel sleep on the sofa. Louis spitting some bars. We see Ollie say that he's a super jealous person. He's not in a good place and apologized. He says if she doesn't want to do this, he will leave. She said, I feel like I'm walking on eggshells. And she says, I'm mentally exhausted. And yeah, that whole dynamic is super weird. I just, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of super weird. We had a competition to end the latter part of the show here. Some of the highlights, we won't have to review this whole entire thing. The first one was a changing station had to change a tire. Then the second one was a mystery buffet. The third was a cold plunge. They have to stay immersed for 4 minutes. And then an inverted pyramid that they had to build upside down. AD ate the shit out of the crickets. Took one for the team. She stole the churros right after that. Rachel, again, a baller. Love her. Lucy killed Daniel in the changing tire challenge. Not surprising to me. Louis said he's ready to jump off a bridge because he was watching Sandy change that tire. Now they're like both refusing to eat the crickets. They do paper, rock, scissors. He loses. He almost pukes. She stole the churros from him, which was absolutely hilarious. Madison scoffed down the crickets. Let's see here. Moving on, the cold plunge. Rachel Ray won the challenge here while Sandy was still eating the fucking churros. Ollie and AD were in a close second place. But yeah, Rachel and Ray get their own personal wrestling match. They're doing a little lucha libre. I love this. It was super cute. We see Louis make a little bit of a romantic date for Sandy. He said, I will be a menace, but I will always be a menace, but I can be a romantic menace. I love Louis. Louis said we can make it work on the outside. He says you deserve to be treated like this. In the boardroom, we have Rachel and Ray, who have on the board JR, Carrington, Clayton, and Cody. And they locked in Sandy and JR. Louis freaked the fuck out. Sandy said you explored the whole forest. Ollie said we will have kids in 8 months and 3 weeks time. Pretty fucking close, Ollie. Ole, pretty close, I would say. And then they were going to pull the trigger on Lucy and Carrington, but Rachel and Ray announced they were too much of a bitch to do it. And they pulled Carrington and Juliet on a date instead. That really pissed me off. JR said, I never saw you as a babysitter, calling out Louis, saying he needs to be a man. Bro, back off. Like, nobody in this world wants to be try to be harder than he is than JR does, right? Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that my dude Louis perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but he's just saying shit to get 5 more minutes on this damn TV show. Carrington and Juliet come back holding hands. Scott was pretty pissed. Ray's excited to have stirred the pot. It's the last mixer, so you know what I mean? That means 2 guys are going home. Carrington shoots a shot at Rachel, which was not what Rachel was trying to intend to do. She basically was trying to say, hey, like, I brought you back in here to hook you up with Juliet, to see what the vibe was, blah, blah, blah. And this dude shot his shot at Rachel instead. Cindy tells Lewis he calls him out, that JR called him out and said he doesn't like Fox talking shit. Can't believe she's even considering JR. I don't know. Louis said, you are a small man in a big man's body. Get him, Louis. Get him. So basically, we have our matches for this week are Lucy and Daniel, Freddie and Madison, Ray and Rachel, Ollie and AD, and then that was it. So we were down to, is Juliet going to match with Scott or Carrington? Which I'm going to predict she goes with Carrington, because I don't think Juliet liked the way that Scott had acted there. Because when she went to hug him, he acted like a little bit of bitch, and she said, I held his hand, not his dick, which is hilarious. Juliet was clocking folks. Maybe her and I are back on the same wavelength. And then, of course, we have the decision of, will Sandy choose Louis or JR? I'm thinking she's going to choose Louis. I'm not 100% confident anymore. I felt like I was, but then I don't know what the plan is or what Sandy's idea of what she's going to try to do here, but I'm just not, I don't know. You know what I mean? But we're inching. We got 1 episode left. Next week's episode is the last episode. And that's going to be a tall tale of who wins perfect match, because everybody comes back. Everybody's going to talk their shit. And then, of course, everybody goes and votes for the winner. Apparently, we're going to be in for a treat, I think, with that. But do Rachel and Ray win this thing? I think it's a possibility. Unless Lucy and Daniel win. I don't know, because they've been together since the beginning. That's all I really can tell about that. But, folks, that is it. Remember, if you're still tuning in, folks, this Sunday, what Sunday's 8th, 9th, 10th, is it the 10th? Sunday, August 10th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Tune in to the Love and Reality Podcast live with my co-host Ashley, as we have a special guest, Alex, from Perfect Match Season 3, joining us to spill all the tea from Perfect Match Season 3. And folks, you saw what happened and what went down on this episode and on her date. She's going to have some tea, plenty of tea to be spilled. But yeah, thank you guys so much for the continued support of the Love and Reality Podcast. We'll be back very, very soon.